What is going on? I am Zedmont, also known as Anon Moose. This is my account that is in a random task force, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you not only this account, but other accounts, and I'm going to show you how to make your operation attacks way better and way more effective, and it's going to blow your mind, and then 75% of other people are going to say, that's obvious, we already know that, but my goal here is to make sure that everyone on the internet, everyone who plays Boom Beach knows some simple tricks to make your operation attacks better. And I'm going to focus on this one. You'll notice I've got 2 boats of bombardiers loaded. If we have a look at this axiom, it's a low health axiom. Shouldn't be a big concern. We've got 1 shock here. We've got another shock of these rockets. Probably need to shock that flamethrower, maybe shock launchers, rocket launchers, probably 5 shocks just to be on the safe side. Plus there's this doom cannon over here, so lots and lots of shocks, maybe 5 shocks and critters. Regardless, they've also got this microwaver that's in the path of where the walk usually goes, and you can always move your walks a little bit. That's not what we're after here. What I'm going to show you here is I've got 2 boats of bombardiers loaded. Now obviously I think you need to be HQ 20 to have bombardiers. Let's just get going so there's less yakking. I'll do more attacks later on to show more details about this. But what I'm highly suggesting is that unless you're looking to do a full boost attack every time, and even for that matter, this works for that as well. But I like to load 7 boats of zookas, 1 boat of bombardiers. If you like to do your operation attacks using tanks, or you like to do it using heavies and cryos and whatever, that's fine too. But this will still work for you. Drop your troops in a staggered way. Like, all I'm doing right now is hanging out, and anyone who wants to watch a replay of this attack in my task force, it's going to be frustrating and painful for them because they're going to have to watch about 2 minutes of me just farming gunboat energy. Basically every operation map there is has some opportunity for farming gunboat energy. Not always the case. Ransom, for example, will have rockets covering both beaches, left and right. Complex, same thing. Any of those ones where you need to farm gunboat energy. Sometimes there's rockets covering the right shore, sometimes there's not. On the left shore here, as you can see, we've got rockets, so we're not going to go there. Now, another thing to be aware of is I don't like suggesting that anyone walk 2 different types of troops at the same time. Walking zookas with the hero is already enough work, and then when they get to the end smoke, if you add bombardiers in there, they're likely going to pop out of the smoke. But look how much gunboat energy we have. We have done nothing but click 2 buttons. We've dropped 2 boats of bombardiers, and they are just farming gunboat energy like absolute mad. My timeline that I like to go for most walks is when it hits the 2-minute mark is when I like to start to murder off my bombardiers, and I literally murder off my bombardiers. So we're going to get to about the 2-minute mark, and then I'm just either going to use artillery to kill them, or I'm going to use barrage to kill them, or I'm going to use a flare to send them to, like, right here, for example. And I'm just going to send them off to the left-hand side, get them dead. We are going to clear this boom mine here just to be on the safe side. And then using that same flare, we can start dropping our zookas. And that's going to get our troops walking approximately where we need them to go. And then we can just send them right about here. So we've killed off our troops. We still have the delay. Yes, I just said the word delay. And now we're walking our troops up with 242 gunboat energy. Now, I typically wouldn't eat nearly this many cells. I would leave a bunch just in case I failed, but there is no the heck reason not to. And now that we're getting close to where the heck I want to be, I just said heck twice in a video, OMG. And now we're just going to walk the rest of our troops up here, and we have so much gunboat energy, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to use a couple extra smokes just to be super cautious. And now we're in the kill zone with 169 gunboat energy without having boosted. So I can flare into here, shock. I just shocked something over here on the right-hand side twice, and all of our zookas blow up the core. So even if doesn't matter what troop you're using, look to farm some gunboat energy at shore, and bombardiers are an amazing way to do that. You saw they got rid of that microwaver, they got rid of those sniper towers. So that is attack number 1. Now, clearly some of you out there are saying, but Zed, this is Tinderbox. I know this is only Tinderbox. I will show you with a couple other accounts in a second or two. I just wanted to get that started. Get you ruminating, get in your brain ruminating. I don't, yeah, anyways, you get the idea. Get you thinking. And by all means, hit me up in the comments if you have other ways to do this. But I'll be back in just a second with at least one more operation attack. Okay, we are now on the HQ16 account that is Tom's. This is the next account that had an operation attack ready to rock and roll. Now, this is a slightly different twist on the same thing. So once people learn the basic operation attack, they do the same thing over and over and over again. People would clear these mines right about in, let's just get our drawing thing out. They'd clear these mines, they'd walk up here, and they blow up Gambit. But for some people who don't have the statue support, that is not an overall great idea. So these rocket launchers right here don't range shore, and as you can see there is a nice little spot where we can farm some cells. So farming cells on shore, I see so many people avoid doing it. This is an absolute must. I highly recommend you do it. Consider it. And then we're going to smoke all of our troops over there. I am going to throw a smoke. This smoke is for those boom cannons so that Everspark doesn't get shot in the face, not for the rocket launchers. And now that we're in here, we can just kind of hang out. And you'll notice I have marked that shock launcher back there. The reason for marking that shock launcher is the same reason why I brought Everspark. What I want to do is I want to get Everspark to pick up some extra death toll for us. Having our zookas attack that shock launcher would be reasonable, it would work, but I find that using Everspark to hack the rocket launcher just works a little bit better because it lets your troops clear the rest of the zone without going too far off to that right-hand side. So now that we're starting to get close, I'm going to smoke my troops right to about there. You see, we were going to be very short on gunboat energy, but as a result of Everspark and of that extra GBE we had picked up at shore, suddenly we've got enough gunboat energy and we can then come all the way back in here, hopefully out of the rocket launcher's range, and then finish off this core. Now, it's going to be close. There, down goes the shock launcher, and then all of our troops are going to sit back there. So this is an HQ-16 taking on a lowish level operation attack, but we would not have had enough gunboat energy to get there if we wouldn't have farmed some more at shore. So not only using bombardiers and dropping like 1 or 2 boats and then waiting, but also sending your whole troops over there, clearing some, and then carrying on, or even going to the other side of the map. Callisto is a great example of that. So 2 for 2 on decent attacks. You can see that my statue support on this account is not super duper awesome, and we didn't boost anything. So anytime you can get a Zooka solo or any solo on an operation base, doesn't matter if you're using Scorchers or tanks or whatever the heck it might be, just please consider looking for green cells that you can get for free. Now, I know like people like to throw some critters towards the back. I don't tend to do that, but that's also an option. I'm going to pause. We'll come back with one more, and hopefully this will help you improve your operation attacks. Okay, we're going to join this operation attack in progress. Had some recording issues, managed to figure them out before we got into it, but as you can see here, 8 seconds before our scouting time ends, so we are going to drop those bombardiers on that right-hand side. We're going to farm as absolute much gunboat energy as we can because we've got a hot-ish beach at the left-hand side here. Also, we've got one... you know what? I wonder if I can draw while my bombardiers farm some gunboat energy. There's a good use. So if we have a look, I'm going to shock right about here to shock that rocket launcher with the machine gun. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. There is 5 shocks for this dioxin. There's a whole bunch of health there as well. And we are unboosted. So chances of me finishing this off on deep cut, by the way, pretty darn low at the moment. But our bombardiers are definitely going to help us get there. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to clear some mines. Definitely need to clear that shock mine, otherwise bad things are going to happen. Then after, you know what, I might have wanted to leave the shock mine and clear the regular mine. Anyways, let's keep going. I'm going to get a barrage right in about here. That is going to clear all of the mines that we need if all goes well. It tends to not happen because my gunboat captain has had too many nips of his flask, but it looks like he actually did a pretty darn good job. All of the relevant mines have been cleared, which is amazing. That never happens to me. It is a red letter day here on the Anon Moose YouTube show. So now we're just waiting for those bombardiers to farm some gunboat energy. Now, with some sniper towers, they tend to get all bunchy, and one bombardier will say, hey, I'm going to go get that power cell and step into range of the sniper tower, but doesn't really matter. If our bombardiers die, it actually helps us save some gunboat energy later on, because we don't want them to live. We're going to kill them off somehow, some way, and we're going to do that in a way that we don't lose the delay around the headquarters, around the core, because that is not a great thing to lose. If you have questions about the delay, I say this every video, but there's always someone who says, what the heck is the delay? So please hit me up in the comments. Would love to show you what the heck I'm talking about. And now, these guys aren't going to die on their own, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get my troops walking without the need to keep those bombardiers coming, and I'm going to try and do that by dropping my zookas first as opposed to second, and then hoping that our bombardiers just kind of disappear off on their own accord, because they're starting to get a little bit close to our zookas, and I really don't want that to happen, because they're not going to be super duper useful to us. So killing off the bombardiers without using an extra flare, not ideal, and I think that flare that I just threw was a little bit too low, but I think I can salvage it if all goes well. This diagonal walk is super unnerving. I tend to screw it up, but so far so good. I have lost the delay though. Speaking of that D word that I try not to say as much as I can, because every time I do, we have problems, but I managed to get back there. We have got just enough GBE. We're going to have 85 by the time our troops get to flaring the core. Should be just enough as one of my teeth throws a whistle out there. And now let's get all of those shocks out there. All 5 shocks. Of course, I missed the shock on that mortar right there, but otherwise, farming all of that spare gunboat energy at the shore got our troops to a point where we can do fairly good damage. Not ideal damage, but pretty darn happy with that nonetheless. Let's have a quick look, see how much health was left on that, and I mean, let's see how much it started with. So it had in the neighborhood of 2 million health. You can tell because you go 919% boost. 9 times 2 is 18, plus the 200 original. So it was just over 2 million health. Actually, it shows right there. My math skills are not required. Doi yoy. And we did 1.7 million damage with no boost, all thanks to these cells at the front. Now, just a reminder, each one of those cells does somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 damage on the core. I've got a video on that for the math as well. Anyways, hopefully this video helped you, will make your operation attacks better, stronger, faster, and all of those things. Let me know in the comments if it helped, if you have other tips. Otherwise, I shall talk to you soon. Hit me up in the comments. Thanks for coming in. I'm Zedmont. Peace.